Cam, the Cavs are good.
So good.
So how you? And that was the moment where I was like, I felt like we've known this for a while that this team's really good, but then they did to the Lakers in that fourth quarter what we have seen good teams do to us. LeBron-led good teams do to us, and we're like, oh no, we just good. Like Donovan Mitchell just took over, didn't have anything to worry about, just completely took over on both sides of the ball, dominated the paint. Jarrett Allen was down there, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're good. We're gonna be fine. Like I think there's a lot of like Cavs without LeBron imposter syndrome going out there in the fan base where we're like, is it really good? Is it as good as LeBron? And I don't know if this is as good as any of the LeBron teams because they all went to the finals, right? Especially that second run. But I mean, this ain't no play-in team we watching this year.
No, it is not. Listen, Donovan Mitchell is the truth. I mean, it's as simple as that. Donovan Mitchell is the truth. And there were conversations, I know when he got here, the first couple of games where he's like, oh my gosh, he was putting up 30 plus points like every single night. But the conversations were, Donovan Mitchell MVP. Yeah, we can see that still. We can see that still. Jarrett Allen is my MVP.
He does so much on both sides of the
on both sides, and when he's back, so they like when he's out, they you can see how much they miss him. It's just trying to find the groove defensively, and then the way that the floor is spaced out. Like Jarrett Allen just draws guys into him, and so you got those perimeter shooters out there when Jarrett Allen's on the court, and that's something that the Cavs have really benefited from, especially Donovan Mitchell, and so like. You got him back out there and you see it, and you can see just how valuable he is to this team when he's out there. It's just, you can't deny it. And so Donovan Mitchell's the truth. Jarrett Allen, MVP.
It's like that combo too, I think is especially dangerous when you have both Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. I think we've known about this for a while, but it's like seeing that in action. And I think like the part where you can see the difference is in Donovan Mitchell. He was a career 25, 24 point a game guy. He is easily hitting 30 a night, right? With his efficiency. He's been less efficient the last, 3 games. He still's gotten to 30, right? And I think that's because the shots he gets are now just easier, right? And we've seen like, Evan Mobley's trying to flirt with the 3-point shot. And if Evan Mobley becomes a pick and pop threat, like not just a pick and roll threat, I don't know how you defend that. Right? Like, I don't know how you stop, especially when they could go double screen Jarrett Allen and then Evan Mobley and then slide Darius Garland onto the outside. Like, what do you do to stop that at that point? Like, I don't know. If that's why they like, so Cavs fans wonder, why is Evan Mobley shooting these threes? Because if he can start hitting 30% of those threes, it's over. It's over.
Absolutely. Listen, the Cavs are doing what they're progressing him the way that Giannis was trying to progress. You saw them try to work on Giannis's jumper and his deep ball and his shot, and it got better. But like he just uses his physicality, and that's like what puts him where he's at, this upper echelon of players. But like Evan Mobley has the potential to do that, to get that body size, and that's what they're working on too, is putting on weight, putting on muscle, getting him bigger. And he did that this offseason. And he gained some pounds. You see it later. But that, in addition to being a shooter, being that 3-ball, I mean, and that's what they want. And Evan Mobley feels like he's got the skill set to do it. You watch him out there, you're like, he's got this. Like
the jumper don't look broke. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. It's not like, ooh, that's like it's not
because when Giannis shooting, he got his shoulder in there. He's just
ugly,
hoofing that thing up. You're like, it's no ugly. Way that goes in 30% of the time.
Exactly. But Evan Mobley, it's kind of smooth. It's like you can see it. Like there it is. There's the start of it. Now you just a little add on to it. He's got the potential to do it, and that's why they've been so high on this guy. Like this guy could be one of the best players in basketball. Like this, and they know it, and so. When you see him taking those shots, it's like, get excited about it. Get excited about it and watch how it changes, because like if he can get it, that's game over. I mean, that's game over.
Because like if they can go to a pick and pop, and we know that he like when he wants to, and I think this is going to be better for him when he gets bigger, right? Because he's still 215. he probably needs another 30 pounds before he can do what he wants to. But we've seen what he's done when he has bigs his size up there. He's more than willing to be physical and aggressive and attack downhill and dunk on people. It's just he's not big enough to do that against Giannis and Joel. Even he had a good game against Joel recently, though. But, it's not a mistake. The two teams the Cavs have really struggled with this year have been the really physical Raptors and the really, really physical Milwaukee Bucks, right? Where those are teams that have real strong, real heavy bigs that are willing to fight you. And the Cavs they're not there yet. Jared Allen's not a super heavy big, right? He's not 280. He's around like 230, 240. And then Evan Mobley, he's more like 215, right? So that's part of the game that's going to come from, but that's the one you have no worries about because you're like, okay, he's just weight. That's just weight, right? Like a lot of the turnovers, he's just not strong enough to do what he wants to do at his size. Because you can see the Euro steps there, the quick feet, the dribble mechanics are there. He's just not big enough yet to do it on a consistent basis, but it's there. And once he gets the reason that pick-and-pop becomes so dangerous if you can't sag off of that. And he can't, and now the dribble drive is in play. Now he could go into a 3-point if he wants to, right? A triple threat stance if he wants to, or he could take a 3-point shot, or he can drive, penetrate. He's a good passer, right? Like he can drive, penetrate. Mitchell can slide to the corner, and then you get a 45% 3-point shooter shooting an open three. Like that is why. If that, I know it's hard for people to envision because a lot of Mobley is, he puts up 20 points a night, but everybody talks about this potential. He's putting up 20 points a night and he's a baby. You know what I mean? Like he is a NBA baby. He is a infant, right? Like this is just scratching the surface of what he can do. So it's not just the 20 points that he puts up right now. It's about the easy 26 that he can get to in the future. And how you can get there easily is if he develops a consistent jumper. That's a problem. That changes everything. So I'm trying to get people to understand, this is why people, when they talk about Evan Mobley, they say wild stuff like Kevin Garnett defensively and Tim Duncan, because modern day wise, he has that potential to do all of these things. And if he can on a team like the Cavs, where they have all these threats around him, that would be an NBA Finals team. That would be one of the best teams in the NBA, if not the best team in the NBA, if that happens. So, the day that happens and he gets 30%, it's a wrap for the rest of the league.
And it's so promising because you can already see the strides that are being made to do that. It's not like, okay, maybe he'll luck into it. They are working on it. Mm-hmm. And you can see that trying to be grown within that roster. And I really, really, really appreciate the way that the Cavs have been able to develop this roster in a way that there is, you got the bench now. You got Kevin Love in that role coming off the bench. You got to figure out that situation with who's going to start the Karras situation, Karras, Okoro. Lamar Stevens is really good defensively. Get him back in the mix. That's your one question mark. But aside from that, they've done just a really great job of not only developing guys and finding ways to put them in their roles, but to go out and get guys like Donovan Mitchell to really explode this roster without giving away that core that you need. And you've got Jared Allen, you've got Evan Mobley, you've got Darius Garland, you've got Donovan Mitchell, and everything else is a luxury. Now you just got to figure out those pieces and get that consistency. But the Cavaliers have put themselves in a position to be a finals team for a long time, which is it's crazy to think about.
It's crazy to say, yeah.
With no LeBron James, the Cavs have put themselves in a position to be a finals team for years to come. That's insane. Yeah. Who would have thought?
And I think they're in a really good spot here too, because you kind of mentioned it. He's in a great spot for his development, right? Because there are two normal extremes to this. You can get a James Wiseman where you go to too good of a situation and you can barely play. And if you make mistakes, the stakes are too high for that. Or you can go to a situation where you have to play and you have to score everything, right? And there are pros and cons to both of those, but he's in this happy medium where he gets a ton of minutes and he gets to make those mistakes. But the Cavs are now afforded these luxuries of, hey, we know he's probably going to go 18% this year from three, right? But that's not the important thing, because we want him to get used to and comfortable to taking these shots in the regular season. So when he works on in the offseason, he knows what he has to fix. And then maybe the year after, he can get to 30 or 35 and go up from there, right? You have the luxury of saying, we don't need Evan Mobley to score 30 points a night for us. We have Donovan Mitchell. We have Darius Garland. We need you to be be who you are defensively, where, I mean, it's amazing. He's 20, 21 years old, and he is close to full maturity defensively. Like, the only thing he can get better at is the stuff that Wait's going to help you with. And he's already really good at all of these things. Like, he's already top 5 in the NBA. So, like, the room for him to grow is marginal defensively, and that's really on the end that you need him. And even then, Jared Allen's there to do all the heavy stuff, right? He can do the perimeter stuff and all the stuff that makes him special. So now he's in a position to where all the traits that are unique about him, he can grow because he doesn't have to do the obvious stuff right now. He can lean on those things when he needs to. You ever notice when, like, Jared Allen's out, Evan Mobley pops up with a 20-point game? He could do that every night if he wanted to. But, like, that's not the game plan. That's not the development plan he's on. They're like, hey, we need you to take some of these shots. We need you to get comfortable shooting the ball. We need you to get here and here, because it's a long-term plan with him. And that's, like, I don't think people appreciate enough the spot he's in, because we're going to focus on stats and we want to see linear growth all the time. But sometimes to get that growth, you have to get somebody comfortable doing something they're not good at right there. And that's going to cause a plateau or even a dip. But it's worth it because it's going to grow in the long run. And I think they're just in a special position there with Evan Mobley. And if that thing works out like we think it's going to work out, I mean, like, look, he could not develop another iota and he would still be a really good pick for the number 3 pick.
And you know that he's going to develop more. It's a low pressure situation where it's like, here's what you got to do it on your own time. And he's the kind of guy that's like, yeah, I want to be better. I want to be that. I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. So it's not like the low pressure situation is not giving him enough of a workload. He's taking on that role, but without the weight of, okay, you've got to learn how to do this, and we kind of want to win some games. So, like, figure it out at the same time as, like, winning games. They're still going to win games because they've got everybody else on the roster to kind of step up and carry that load while he is figuring it out and also playing really good basketball, which is also crazy to think. He's a big developmental piece, but still it's this core of the Cavs. And they found a way to kind of mix him up and use a little bit of both. Have him be a core guy on the team while also getting him where they want to get him. And it's really fun to watch. And that's what, I mean, the Cavs are fun to watch, but the little intricacies of how they are creating this team is just really, really, really special. And I think that in a couple of years, if they're trending the way they're trending now, we go back and look at this is like a 30 for 30 kind of thing. This is like the makings of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, it's really, really cool what's happening in Cleveland. I hope people appreciate it.
It's like what the plan was with Tim Duncan early in his career. It's like, hey, we got David Robinson. We got the Admiral. We don't need you to be this guy yet. Like, offensively, you're going to work on some things, but we have the main thing. Like, you could be supplemental. That's what we need you to do. But in the meantime, let's practice some of these post-ups, you know. Let's practice some of this post-position stuff, you know what I mean? This high post, because it was a different game back then. The bigs will always be in the paint. So it wasn't like go to the perimeter stuff like Evan does. But, you know, it's like, hey, try out some of this stuff defensively, get used to this. And then when it's your time, it's your time. And that's with Evan, that's what it is right now. And then, like, even then, he does something every game. You're like, what? Like, he either has a block where he just completely swallows it, or he has one of those fun moments where he just decides to get the rebound and says, I'm going to go full court, Euro this thing and slam it. Like, you know what I mean? like, so it's all, one of them, he went full court, sized up somebody, hesied, and then Euroed. And I was like, oh, goodness gracious. Like,
oh, my goodness.
So there's a reason, you know, I kind of wanted this video and they ended up focusing on Evan, but there's a reason why every time any NBA player that's on the Cavs goes on the podcast, and Evan Mobley comes up, they go, y'all don't even know. Because the stuff he's doing in practice, I promise you, would blow your mind. Where it's like, yo, he can do this? You know what I mean? Like, the second he learns how to shoot free throws, like, oh my God. Like, you know, it's not the tough stuff it's like watching a baby come out the womb and be able to, like, one-handed catch a football. You're like, okay, it's gonna be easy for you to catch one with two. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, he can do all of the difficult stuff, and they feel like he has the right mindset. They feel like it's all there right in front of him. And it's there. There is a reason, Cavs fans, why I know it's hard to see it sometimes, because sometimes he doesn't flash. Sometimes it's hard to see because he gets a couple turnovers early in the game, and you're thinking about right now. But Evan, you got to take the long view with him, and it's like, okay, yeah, never mind.
And and it's really easy to say like, oh yeah, they have all this hope and promise for him, and they're gonna keep hyping him up to try to keep him inflated. This is so different from how a lot of teams, organizations, and people talk about new upcoming guys that have potential. When you talk about a guy with potential, it's like, oh yeah, he can do this, and this, and like we hope to see it soon. This is like, you can see what he's doing here. Mm-hmm. This is like, you can pinpoint the potential. It's not just like made up, like, oh, here's a skill set that he needs to find a way to translate. He's got it. Now we're just going to make it better. And here's how it's getting better. And so the hype around it, no one is sugarcoating what he's going to be able to do, which is why, I mean, it's not just promise. It's what you've been able to see. He's special. He is special. And if this goes to plan, which it is already looking like it has come a long way already, going to go a long way. I mean, he's going to be a name. Evan Mobley jersey is going to run rampant in the streets.
It will be Evan Mobley court at LeBron James Pavilion or something like that. But Cam, I want to thank you for coming on, talking Cavs with me. If you want to hear Cam talk about the Browns, it's on my main channel where we talked about the Browns and some of the stuff with how the locker room feels about Watson coming back. So if you want to check that out, check it out there. Cam, thank you for coming on. Always appreciate your insight. But you guys have a great day. Have an even better night.